Hi, everyone. My name is Amanda Luzzi. I am one of the on-site assistants in the Sienna Summer Abroad program. I have been working for the program for almost 7 years. It's been a while. I was a student in the Sienna Summer Abroad program in 2009. It was a great experience.
Hi everyone, my name is Diana. I am also a summer abroad on-site staff, just like Amanda. I have been working with the program for the last 3 years. I also have participated in the abroad programs as a student in my undergraduate years in Italy as well. So very relevant to this conversation today.
So over the past few years, Diana and I have worked together. We've met many interesting students over the years that come to Sienna. Many of them repeat the program because they have such a great experience. We also see a lot of students that study in multiple summer abroad destinations because the experience they had was so great. It's really interesting for us to find out why students decide to participate in the destinations that they choose. We also really love to hear about all the different disciplines that the students come from. It's interesting because they come from all walks of life, all different areas of study, and it's great when they come to Sienna and we get to learn about all of them.
Sienna, for those who are watching, is a small medieval city located in Tuscany, and the program generally runs 5 weeks towards the end of the summer.
This is the first conversation of many in a series, just chatting with different alumni. So we're going to be focusing, like Diana said, on Italy, but in the future, you'll hear from other students who participated in other programs.
So the purpose of today's chat is to really hear from Lena, who has not only participated in the Sienna program, which Amanda and I work in, but has also participated in 3 others. So we're excited to hear about your memories from Sienna, your lessons learned, and what you're up to now after graduating in 2012, so 8 years ago, which is crazy to think about.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lena, as the girls mentioned. I am a U of T alum. I graduated in 2012, and I got a specialist in history. So I really loved history. That's all I ever wanted to take. And Sienna, the program in Sienna really fit into that quite well, because they offered a Renaissance history course with one of my favorite professors, Ken Bartlett, who is amazing in the Renaissance history department. He's kind of a legend at U of T. And so I thought, Ken Bartlett abroad, Italy, yeah, count me in for sure. I'm gonna go. So that's kind of how I decided to get into the program that I did, and I'm so glad I did. And actually, it was such a coincidence chatting with Amanda, because we were in the same program in the same year, just taking different classes. So it's really kind of cool to see a little blast from the past. And so many people from these programs have stayed in touch. And I'm sure, Amanda, you have so many friends that, you still talk to about it. And it's just amazing. It's one of those great U of T experiences where, especially if you were like me, a commuter student who just wanted to run back to the subway, before rush hour, it really gave you a chance to get to know your fellow students. So still think about that trip all the time and highly, highly recommend it. I was studying history and really focused on different areas. When you get a specialist at U of T, they really make you go in depth and you kind of cover a lot of ground. And I really didn't know which era specifically I wanted to focus on, which region. I really loved 20th century interwar history. And then I really loved Renaissance Italian history. And so I decided, you know what? I've taken Renaissance history courses. I love the idea of going to Italy. I think the history is amazing. And more so than just going by myself and taking a trip and a week with my friends, I really wanted a guided experience so that I could notice the little things that tourists often miss when they go to a destination. And when you have somebody like Ken Bartlett, who is so knowledgeable, he's such a renowned professor at U of T, and I had taken his general first year history courses prior to going to Italy. I knew he was a great instructor, so I said, okay, this is the guy that I want to be my tour guide when I go to Italy. And that was kind of I sealed the deal in terms of making the decision to go.
Can you tell us a little bit about what your favorite memories were of the course?
It's equally what happened in the classroom and outside of the classroom, as I'm sure you guys can attest to, the guided kind of experience that you get to go out in the field, into the city, into the country sometimes on road trips and see the surrounding areas. Really, it's that kind of little attention to detail that you're not going to get other places. That's kind of what I love the most about the course. And if I have some pictures that I've taken on our guided city tours with Ken Bartlett and the other students. And you often see him pointing to like a random little thing on the wall and everybody's passing by it. But this was the site of a major revolution. And, like this is where it all began. And I'm like, I would have totally missed this had I just, been on my own with a guidebook or something. And he really makes sure that you get to see those little things, pay attention to those. And yeah, that was probably my favorite part of the program. And also getting to know the interesting kind of personalities of each city. Siena itself is so unique, as I'm sure you guys know, because it's divided into neighborhoods, and those neighborhoods have very interesting relationships between each other. So I remember this one time when and Ken Bartlett warned us about this. He said, look, you don't want to go down the wrong street waving the wrong flag. You really don't want to do that because, the memories run deep. You don't know who you're going to offend. And so I said, got it. I'm not going to do that. But I was walking down the street and I was simply wearing an orange shirt. And somebody stopped me and they said, orange? No. You want blue. You want blue, maybe pink. You don't want orange. And I said, oh my goodness, did I offend somebody? I was wearing their rival neighborhood's color on me unknowingly. So it's these little things that are so interesting. And just like in any neighborhood in Toronto or wherever you're from, people have their little, kind of personality traits. You got to see that in Siena so clearly. And it was really, really a lot of fun.
Siena is so unique with their neighborhoods, or in Italy how they call it in Siena, their contradas, right? And it's so specific to the city, and the palio is so specific to the city. Can you tell us what your favorite moment of the city was? Like, what can you remember something like, what, I will never forget that, aside from this little mishap with the cavalry shirt?
One that was so significant, palio, of course. It happens in Siena twice a year, both times in the summer, I believe. But basically a giant horse race where every neighborhood is represented and they race each other. And that was a really special year, 2009, because our program guide, or I'm not sure what his official title is, Nini, his neighborhood, which hadn't won in a long, long time, like decades, that year, they finally won the horse race. And of course, the next day, nobody could find Nini because he was still out celebrating. It was really, really cool just to see how they transformed this public square into this arena. Of course, Italy has amazing food, that goes without saying. The gelato shops all over the place, pizza, and I don't want to advertise this too heavily, but if you are a fan of a little vino, it is much less expensive than it is in Toronto. So that is definitely a plus. Many great memories with the food and the drinks and everything there. That goes without saying, really.
What have you been doing since you graduated from U of T? What's been going on with you?
So much. I mean, it's like everybody trying to focus on their careers. What exactly is it that I want to do? I, after my history degree, decided to focus on broadcasting specifically. It was a big shift from what I had wanted to do. I took history and I thought, I'm going to go all the way with this. I'm going PhD, postdoc, this and that. And I realized very quickly, probably don't have the patience to sit in the library for that long and write that much. And I have great respect for people who do. I'm just not one of them. And so I decided to shift my focus to broadcasting, and I went to a postgrad program at Humber College. And after that, got an internship in Toronto at AM 640, which was a very interesting time to do that because that was the Rob Ford era of the city. And to be in talk radio during that time, you could tell probably things were very, very eventful. So did that for a few years and then traveled all around the country to do morning shows, FM morning shows specifically on music stations. And I've been doing that for the last 6.5 years.
Because you've done not just the Siena program, but you've done also the Oxford abroad program and the Hong Kong abroad program. Would you say that these experiences have somehow influenced your life and your career? And if so, could you give us some examples of how that was?
Directly influenced. And this is kind of unusual, I will admit, compared to, because a lot of people say, oh, travel is such a great thing. It'll leave a lasting impression. It'll teach you a lot about yourself. All things that are absolutely accurate. But for me, it was even more direct than that, because my very first opportunity in radio came at CIUT, which is associated with the University of Toronto. And they were talking specifically about international study opportunities. So I go, oh, look at me with all my experience traveling here, there, and the other place. I'll go and talk to you about international study and how great it is, just kind of like what I'm doing right now. This was my very first time on radio. I spent 5 hours in a convention just tracking people down and interviewing people, and that was my first shift on air. And so I thought, well, this is great. If I hadn't done those programs, I wouldn't have gotten that opportunity. So I can very directly say this has impacted my life, definitely.
That's incredible. I have a similar experience where I did an abroad program as a student in my second year of university. And because of that, I had also then traveled to work abroad in a different country. And because of those experiences, that's how I got the position with the Summer Abroad Office, is having those experiences. These things just happen.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm the same. After I did the Siena program, the next summer, I knew I wanted to go back to Italy. So I went back and I actually taught English in Italy, and then came back and I actually went to Teachers College, and I'm a teacher now. So it all stemmed from studying abroad and having that experience in another country.
Yeah, you really never know, just by putting yourself out there, seeing different parts of the world. They call it the travel bug. And I didn't really understand that until I myself went over there, because you really do get a little bit addicted to exploring new places that you haven't seen, talking to people, hearing languages that you're not familiar with, eating food, all of that stuff. It's really quite exhilarating, and you never know where it's going to lead, because you just put yourself out there. That's all we can do in life, and adventures await, right?
Have you ever been back to any of the summer abroad destinations that you studied in?
Yes, definitely. Italy was one of them. Absolutely. It's kind of interesting because I had the very guided experience, and then I went the completely other direction. Maybe because I had the confidence, because I had already been with somebody that knew where they were going, knew what they were talking about, and pointing out all the interesting things. But I actually went back not too long ago in 2017 to Rome by myself. And I've kind of been traveling by myself, and I thought that would be the scariest thing ever, but I've been traveling by myself for a few years now, going to different places. Italy is definitely one that I've revisited. And I'm also happy to say that looking at the 2020 or 2021 brochure for Summer Abroad, so many more destinations have been added since I was a student. So Portugal is on the list. I just went to Portugal a couple of years ago, and I thought, wow, this would have been a great opportunity when I was a student. So I'm so glad that it's offered now.
Yeah, there are a lot of choices now for students wherever they decide to study. Is there any advice that you would give to a student who's maybe considering a summer abroad program? Is there something you wish you had known before you decided to go to Italy?
Yeah, I wish I had gone earlier, for sure. The first opportunity that you get, if you can, it's definitely something that's worth doing. I can't recommend it enough, especially if you are a commuter student. Again, so many of us are fortunate enough to live on res and build those connections and make those friendships, and that's fantastic. Or when you get to your later years, you have your smaller classes at U of T that allow you to bond with people a little bit more. But if you're a first year and you're commuting and you're thinking, I really just want to get to know people, I'm feeling like I'm not really connecting the way I did back in high school, go on a summer abroad program. You have a small, very close-knit group and an instructor that gives you personal attention. You're not just a number. It's just a very cool bonding experience. And then you'll go back to the city and you'll still keep in touch with those people, and you'll meet up with them on campus and things. It's just a great way to combat that, fear of change and something new, and the loneliness that you get when you start a new chapter in your life. I really recommend it. Go as early as you can.
There is something about having an abroad experience with the people that you meet there That type of friendship is very unique. And Amanda and I have spoken about this before. The things you experience together in a whole different countries is quite beautiful.
Every single program, no matter what you choose to take, offers a varying degree of that. You know, if you're somebody who's really independent and you want to go exploring on your own, I never felt like I was tied down and it's like, no, the group is going left, you're going left. You know, it's you are given a little bit more freedom. And so if there's something specific that you want to do, talk to your instructor and tell them, I've heard this about this place and I really would like to see it. And it's already probably on their schedule. But if it's not, they'll tell you where to go if they don't take you there themselves.
Exactly. And that's sort of what Diana and I are there in Siena for. Like, if students have questions or they're interested in a certain city in Italy, we can give them that advice so that they can make that dream come true.
There is a quote, I don't remember by who, but says that the world is a novel and our lives are a novel, and one city is just one page of that novel. So our experiences, and as you can attest to, in 3 different countries, learning nonetheless, not just traveling, definitely shows as a positive impact to your personal life and what it's impacted in your career. So thank you so much for taking the time to share with us.
Yes, Lena, thank you so much. For anyone who's watching, if you have more questions for Lena or even just questions about the Summer Abroad program, any of the programs, you can reach out to the Summer Abroad office. They would love to chat with you. So thank you again, Lena. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye, guys.